My paternal grandfather, my real grandfather, his name was Ralph. He died in 2001 when I was around 6 or 7, and this man came shortly after. I would stay there after he left until I thought it was okay to come out, and I remember walking through the house and having to go to the bathroom because, well, I didn't understand. Something in between my legs hurt terribly. And I knew it wasn't right, and that just continued to happen at least 2 times from what I can remember. My name is Shelbie Leeper, and today I am illustrating my journey. I knew I wanted multiple tattoos since I was like 17, 18, at the dismay of my parents. I have several planned out, but I just never quite took the final jump. I am a big reader. I love reading books, I always have. When I was still in high school, I actually brought one of the books in the series. This was the final book in this series. I read a certain page of the main character essentially being tortured, and something she said really just spoke out with me. It said, "You do not yield," and she tells that to herself over and over and over again as she's going through the worst point in her life. And I knew when I read that quote that I wanted it as a tattoo, so here I am. Essentially, the main character symbol is a pair of stag antlers. And from the other series that she has, which the same quote is actually found in, are a pair of 3 mountains with 3 stars at the top of the highest mountain. It's just a lot more even because mine's usually slanted.
Yes, I could see a little bit differently.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Shelbie's story was one of the first ones that I read, and that one deeply impacted me, obviously, because I related to the sexual trauma and the situation that she went through. When I was a small child, around 7 years old, I was raped repeatedly by my grandmother's boyfriend. I would stay over at my grandma's house, weekends, weeknights, whenever. I liked staying over there, but I hated sleeping alone. She had a bedroom downstairs for the grandkids, and I just didn't like sleeping there. So what she would do is she would put a bunch of pillows and blankets on the floor at the foot of her bed, and I would sleep there. I did that my entire childhood, and one day, while they were both sleeping together, I was still sleeping on the floor. She went out on the deck to have her coffee, and he came back in the room and sexually assaulted me while he thought that I was sleeping. He would pick me up and put me in the bed and sexually assault me. Shortly after it happened, I don't remember that much, but I do remember telling my grandmother about it, and I remember her blowing it off and just saying stupid things that maybe he was doing this and you just mistook it for something else. But suddenly after that, it all stopped, so I didn't question it, and I was terrified she was going to tell my parents, so I didn't ever bring it up again. And since it stopped, I mean, I guess it worked. In 2017, my younger brother, I have 2 brothers, my younger brother and his girlfriend got pregnant with their first child, and I decided that I was not going to let that baby come into this family with that predator and without them knowing what he did. So at around March of 2017, I got out my laptop and I typed what essentially is a short story of what happened, because I'm a writer, I'm a reader, I genuinely enjoy that stuff, and I couldn't physically say it at the time. So I sat my mom down one night and I told her to read this, and she cried and she said she knew that there was something going on, but she could never put her finger on it. They're still in a relationship. He's still a part of the family. Unfortunately, a lot of my family didn't believe me, and I found out once I came out about it that my grandmother, who I originally told, that she remembered that conversation and that she did blow it off. and she still chose to stay with him. So I don't really talk to a lot of my family members anymore. I thought I had dealt with it until I publicly spoke about it to my friends, to my family. I thought I was fine. I thought I was healed. I was not, because I'd never told anyone.
When I read her piece, I cried. I was reading it out loud to my husband because it just felt so empowering to know that there's someone out there that has went through what I've went through, but is trying to do something better. So, you know, becoming a police officer and getting into the realm of being able to actually have have feet on the ground and hands in the pot of what it takes to put some of these people behind bars and solve these crimes for people. So is what happened in your story what made you become a cop?
It's a part of it. I can't really describe the feeling. It's kind of one of those, and it's so cliche, but like, I was put on this earth to do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's really truly how I feel about it. Right out of training, I got sent to a DOA, which means dead on arrival. It was a little 3-year-old girl. So I'll never forget her face. I will never forget her name. I will never forget having to tell her mom when she came up that her little girl was gone forever. I have talked people through wanting to hurt themselves or hurt others. I have taken several sex offense cases in the initial investigation, so I have dealt with things that hit pretty close to home, and of course still being professional and still trying to get them through their own traumas. There was one where, like me, when I was probably her age, she didn't want to talk about it. I don't bring my personal life to work, but there are certain times when another human being needs to hear that they're not alone. And when I did tell her that, very briefly, she opened up to me just ever so slightly more. And I hope it did help her. This is nothing. Like, I mean, okay, it definitely hurt by my elbow, but like, this is like a great experience. I love this. It's for me. It's for all the other little girls and little boys who had to grow up way too fast and who didn't get to live the life that they should have gotten to live, and they have something they have to carry with them for the rest of their lives. It's for them too. I've come so far from when I didn't even tell anyone, from where I couldn't look a man in the eyes, to being in a career field where I do much more, where I have to parent people, where I have to help people, where I have to question people. And it's just, I don't want to say that this is something that was meant to happen, because it shouldn't happen to anyone, any little girl or any little boy. It should never happen to them. But in a way, I feel like it happened so I could become this person. I am so happy with my life now. I have an amazing fiance and an amazing little nephew who was the reason why I did this in the first place. And very recently, I now have a godchild. I don't know where I would be if it weren't for everyone who supported me and everyone who loves me. It will always remind me that I spoke my truth, and that anyone who decides that they didn't want to hear it or didn't want to believe it are wrong, and they're hiding. I know that just speaking my story has helped other people to come forward with theirs in my personal life. And the fact that I can do even that is just a blessing.
Again, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this for you. Thank you for listening to my story as well. I know after the filming stopped, we had a really nice discussion, and I feel like that was healing for both of us, and I appreciate that. So thank you. And I'm excited to see your piece, and I know you want more, and I can't wait to have you back.
Never thought mom told me that she was gonna get in a divorce with my dad.
Time changes people, we both know this.
Being out in Toledo, kind of 3 hours away, going back and forth, I have a younger brother and younger sister, so making sure they're okay through this whole process is, my main concern. It's been stressful, but that's where, art has kind of came into play for me, being able to, fall back on that when times get hard and to, kind of just, sweep everything away and just focus on that.